Have you ever wondered about the environmental impact of your favorite vacation flight? When you're jetting off to a tropical paradise or a bustling city halfway around the world, it's easy to forget about the environmental footprint you're leaving behind. But the truth is, every flight we take contributes to the global increase in carbon emissions. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but how much of an impact can one flight really make? Well, let's break it down a bit. Air travel has been on the rise for decades. In the early 90s, we saw about 1 billion flights per year. Fast forward to the 2020s, and that number has more than quadrupled. This surge in air travel corresponds with an increase in carbon emissions. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite only accounting for about 2% of total global emissions, the aviation industry's impact is far from negligible. This is because planes emit greenhouse gases directly into the upper atmosphere, where they have a much greater warming effect than gases emitted at ground level. To put it into perspective, a single transatlantic flight can emit about as much carbon as the average person does in a year from driving. That's a significant amount of carbon for just one trip. Now keep in mind that this isn't about pointing fingers or making anyone feel guilty. It's about understanding the impact of our choices and realizing that every action we take has a consequence. When we choose to fly, we're not just choosing a mode of transportation. We're also choosing to contribute to the greenhouse gases that are warming our planet. So, let's not forget the environmental cost of air travel. It's not just about the ticket price or the convenience, it's about the impact on our planet. So, we can see that the aviation industry plays a substantial role in global warming. And as we continue to fly more and more, that role is only going to grow. But don't lose hope just yet. As we'll explore in the next scenes, the industry is well aware of this challenge and is taking steps towards sustainability. Let's delve a little deeper into the carbon footprint of aviation, shall we? When we talk about carbon footprints, we're essentially referring to the amount of greenhouse gases that are produced by our actions. And in the case of aviation, these gases are primarily produced by burning fossil fuels. Imagine this. A commercial plane, like a Boeing 747, can consume about 1 gallon of fuel per second. Over the course of a 10-hour flight, it might burn approximately 36,000 gallons. Now, when you burn that fuel, it releases carbon dioxide, or CO2, into the atmosphere. CO2, as we know, is a greenhouse gas that traps heat in our atmosphere, contributing to the warming of our planet. But that's not all. Airplanes also emit other greenhouse gases like methane and nitrous oxide. These gases are even more effective at trapping heat than CO2. So, while they're emitted in smaller quantities, their impact is still significant. Furthermore, the high altitude at which planes fly can lead to the formation of contrails, which can also contribute to global warming. Beyond greenhouse gases, aviation also has other environmental impacts. For instance, airports can be sources of considerable noise pollution. This noise can not only disrupt local ecosystems, but it can also negatively impact people's health and quality of life. In addition, the fuel burned by planes can lead to air quality deterioration near airports. This is because the combustion process releases pollutants like sulfur dioxide and particulate matter into the air. These pollutants can lead to respiratory problems and other health issues for people living in the vicinity of airports. So, when we talk about the carbon footprint of aviation, we're not just talking about the CO2 emitted by planes. We're talking about a whole host of environmental impacts, from global warming to noise pollution to air quality deterioration. Clearly, the aviation industry has a significant environmental impact that cannot be ignored. Scene script. Faced with this reality, how is the aviation industry responding? Well, let's say they're not just sitting on their hands. The industry is actively pursuing multiple strategies to reduce its environmental impact. First, we have fuel efficiency improvements. Remember, less fuel consumed means less carbon dioxide released. Airlines are investing heavily in new, more aerodynamically efficient aircraft and engine technologies. They're optimizing flight paths and speeds, cutting down unnecessary weight on flights, and improving operations on the ground. For example, they're using electric tugs to move planes on the ground instead of the plane's own fuel-guzzling engines. Next up, there's the push for cleaner technologies. The industry is banking on technological innovation to help us reach greener skies. This includes everything from electric planes to carbon capture technologies. We're talking the likes of ZeroAvia, a company pioneering hydrogen-electric aviation, and Climeworks, a Swiss startup that's literally sucking carbon dioxide out of the air. But one of the most promising strategies is the use of sustainable aviation fuels. These are fuels made from renewable resources like used cooking oil, agricultural residues, or even municipal waste. They can help reduce the carbon footprint of aviation fuel by up to 80%. And let's not forget about the role of carbon offsetting. While it's not a solution in itself, it's a valuable tool in the transition towards a more sustainable industry. Airlines are offering passengers the chance to offset their flights, investing the proceeds in projects that reduce or capture greenhouse gas emissions elsewhere. However, it's important to remember that these are still early days. None of these strategies alone can solve the problem. Each one brings its own challenges and uncertainties, but together they offer a way forward, a path towards a future where air travel doesn't mean harming our planet. These measures, while commendable, are just the beginning of the industry's journey towards sustainability. But what does the future hold for greener skies? Let's delve into that, shall we? First up, electric planes. Now you might be thinking, electric? In the sky? But yes, it's true. Current research is exploring how to make this a reality. The idea is to replace fossil fuel-driven engines with electric motors. This could drastically reduce the aviation industry's carbon emissions. However, there's a catch: batteries. They're heavy, and when it comes to flight, weight is everything. But with ongoing advancements in battery technology, we might just see electric planes in our skies sooner than we think. Next, let's talk about hydrogen fuel cell technology. Hydrogen, when used as a fuel, only emits water vapor, making it a very clean energy source. The challenge here is storage and safety. Hydrogen needs to be stored at extremely low temperatures and is highly flammable. But again, with advances in technology, we're seeing solutions to these issues being developed. Then there are carbon offset schemes. These are programs where an airline calculates the emissions from your flight, and you pay an extra fee to offset it. This money then goes towards environmental projects. It's a way for us to mitigate the impact of our flights right now, while we wait for the tech gurus to perfect those electric planes and hydrogen fuel cells. And finally, there's the role of governments and international regulations. Legislation can incentivize the aviation industry to reduce its carbon footprint. For instance, governments can provide subsidies for research into greener technologies or impose taxes on carbon emissions. International regulations can also set standards for emission reductions, pushing the industry towards a greener future. With these promising developments, the future of aviation could indeed be much greener. Our skies might soon be filled with electric planes, whizzing about on clean energy, with hydrogen-fueled jetliners cutting through the clouds, and in the meantime, we can all do our bit with carbon offset schemes, supporting the transition towards greener aviation. So here's to a future of cleaner, greener skies. So, where does this leave us in the fight against aviation emissions? We've taken a deep dive into the world of aviation, examining its environmental impact and the industry's response to the pressing issue of climate change. We've seen how air travel, a marvel of human achievement, has a significant carbon footprint. It's a sobering reality that the convenience of global connectivity does come with a cost. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've also seen how the aviation industry is taking strides towards sustainability. Airlines and aircraft manufacturers are investing in more fuel-efficient planes, exploring the potential of alternative fuels, and implementing carbon offsetting schemes. These efforts, while still in their infancy, are a testament to the industry's commitment to reducing its environmental impact. We've also ventured into the realm of future solutions. The prospect of electric planes and the potential of sustainable aviation fuel have shown us that a greener future for aviation isn't just a pipe dream. It's a tangible goal that scientists, engineers, and innovators around the globe are tirelessly working towards. However, it's important to remember that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, resources, and relentless determination. The road to greener skies is a long one, fraught with challenges and uncertainties. But each step we take, each innovation we make, brings us closer to that goal. As we conclude, it's crucial to remember that we, as individuals, also have a role to play. We can choose airlines that prioritize sustainability, support the development of green technologies, and be mindful of our own travel habits. In the grand scheme of things, each action might seem small, but collectively, they can make a significant difference. It's a shared journey towards a more sustainable future, and every flight we take, every choice we make, has an impact. As we strive for greener skies, every flight we take is a step on the journey towards a more sustainable future.